If you failed the first test, Chapter 1, Rational Numbers, you were invited to a Zoom meeting where I went over this. Since nobody attended, I am recording it and giving you yet another chance. The first question on the test says, Derek spends $3 on breakfast and $5.50 on lunch every school day. How much does he spend on breakfast and lunch in a school week? Well, first I need to put how much he spends each day together. And we do that by adding. When I write the 3, it needs to go under the first 5 because we have to line up our decimals. So Derek is spending $8.50 each day. Now I need to find out how much in a school week. There's 5 days in a school week, so I can either add this 5 times or multiply by 5. If I multiply, I get $42.50. Question 2. Alexandra's backpack weighs 7 5/8 pounds. What is the weight of her backpack expressed as a decimal? The whole number part is going to stay the same. We need to figure out what is 5/8. And you were supposed to memorize it. But you can divide it out to figure out what a fraction is as a decimal. 8 goes into 50 6 times with 2 left over. 8 goes into 20 twice with 4 left over. And then 8 goes into 40 5 times with nothing left over. So this is 7.625. Number 3. On a certain day, the temperature in Seattle was -1 degree Celsius, and the temperature in Houston was 18 degrees Celsius. How many degrees lower was the temperature in Seattle? So we are subtracting. When we subtract, we usually put the big number first and the little number second. When we do that, we're subtracting integers, so we have to remember the rule keep, change, opposite. So I'm going to keep the 18, change that to plus, and the opposite of -1 is +1. So what I'm really doing is adding 18 plus 1, which makes 19. Number 4. Which of the following fractions is equivalent to a repeating decimal? Again, you were supposed to memorize those, but if you didn't, you can divide. Man, horse. 5 goes into 10 twice. So 1/5 is the same as 0.2. We just did 5/8 right here. So 5/8 is 0.625. Now I just need to figure out 2/3. Remember, the top number goes in the house. 3 goes into 20 6 times, which is 18. 2 left over. 3 goes into 26 times with 2 left over. It's repeating, so this is 0.6 repeating. That means it has to be 2/3 that is the repeating decimal. Number 5, which set does the number 4,500 belong to? Remember the Venn diagram with whole numbers in the middle? And then outside of that was integers. And then outside of that was rational numbers. If we're looking at that Venn diagram, 4,500 goes with whole numbers. And if it's a whole number, then it is also an integer And it's also a rational because it's in all three circles if it's in the middle. Number 6, what is the product of negative 1 3/8 and 2 4/5? Product means to multiply. And before we can multiply, we need to do around the world to change them to improper fractions. So 8 times 1 is 8, plus 3 makes 11. So this is negative 11 over 8 times 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 more makes 14 over 5. And before I start multiplying, I want to simplify, because if I do that, then I'll have smaller numbers. I notice I can simplify 14 and 8 because both of those numbers can be divided by 2. 8 divided by 2 makes 4. 14 divided by 2 makes 7. Then I go straight across. Negative 11 times 7 is negative 77. And 4 times 5 makes 20. That's not one of the answer choices because it's an improper fraction. So I need to go divide that out. 20 goes into 77 3 times, because 3 times 20 is 60 with 17 left over. The leftovers become my new numerator, and the denominator is still 20, which is answer F. Number 7. What is the value of negative 3 2/3 divided by 1/3? And again, that's a mixed number that we need to change to an improper fraction. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 makes 11 over 3, divided by 1/3. Then we remember the rules for keep, change, flip. When you're dividing fractions, you use keep, change, flip. So I keep the negative 11 over 3, change to multiplication, and flip the last fraction. And I see that I can simplify 3 and 3. They both become 1s. And then I go straight across. Negative 11 times 1 is negative 11. 1 times 1 is 1. So that's just negative 11. Number 8. The number of students enrolled in Hill School decreased by 120 students over an 8-year period. What was the overall change in student enrollment per year? So it's asking how much was on each year. That means it's wanting us to divide. And decreased means that's negative. And a negative divided by a positive is going to make a negative. 8 goes into 12 once. 4 left over. And then 8 goes into 40 5 times. So that's negative 15. Number 9. Brian played a trivia game in which he lost 5 points for each incorrect answer and gained 10 points for each correct answer. If Brian answered 11 questions correctly and 4 questions incorrectly, what was his total score? So he's losing 5 points, and it happened 4 times. That's multiplication. And he's gaining 10 points 11 times for the correct answers. So 5 times 4 is 20. And 10 times 11 is 110. To find his score, then, we need to subtract. He has 90 points. Number 10. What is the value of negative 3 plus 4.5 minus negative 1.2? First, you want to do just the first two numbers. And the rule is same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. So since they have different signs, I'm going to subtract. Now, the 3 needs to go under the 4 because we have to line up decimals. And if I subtract, I get 1.5. And we need to take the sign of the larger. And the larger number was that one, which is positive. So my answer is positive. Then I need to do the rest of the problem. Minus negative 1.2. Remember, keep, change, opposite. So keep the 1.5, change to plus. The opposite of negative 1.2 is positive 1.2. So I'm just adding a positive 1.5 and a positive 1.2. Just going to add them together, which is 2.7. Number 11. Miss Henning wants to purchase 30 calculators for her math class. Calculators cost $14 each. Miss Henning currently has $300 in her account to spend on the calculators. How much more money does she need? Well, first we have to figure out how much she needs. If they each cost $30, we're going to be multiplying 14 times 30. Three times 4 is 12. Carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1's 4. So she needs $420. But she has $300. So then we subtract that $300 to see how much more she still needs. She needs $120. Last question, number 12. Working together, 5 friends collected 40 and 5/8 bags of food for the homeless. On average, how many bags of food did each friend collect? So they're asking for each friend. That means we're going to be dividing 40 and 5/8 by 5 friends. Well, I know that 5 is going to need a 1 under him. And then I need to change the mixed number to an improper fraction. So 8 times 40. 8 times 4 is 32, so that's 320 plus the 5 makes this new numerator 325. And then I use the rule keep, change, flip. So I keep 325 over 8, change to multiplication, flip the last fraction. And I know that 325 and 5 will simplify, but I can't really do that in my head easily. So I'm going to go straight across, and I get that. It's an improper fraction, so I'm going to divide it out. 40 is going to go into 325 8 times, because 40 times 8 is 320 with 5 left over. The leftovers go on top. The denominator is still 40. And then I need to simplify. Both of those numbers will divide by 5. Don't forget to bring the whole number over. 5 divided by 5 makes 1. 40 divided by 5 is 8. 8 and 1/8 is the answer.